y'all worry about the dollars. I'm gonna worry about the pennies, right? Business owner, y'all make the dollars. I'll take care of the pennies because if you are somebody who is trying to go out and get something for yourself, get established and all that, the number one thing that you have on your mind is making money.
That's right.
Right? But once you become established, one of the most important things that you can do as a business owner is control costs.
And penny pinch.
Right. So you go from chasing money to controlling costs. That's a real big deal right there. You know, as a business owner, you got to watch what's going out, not just what's coming in. You know,
exactly.
So what you're saying,
people to bring it in.
So what you're saying, instead of watching the dollars, I need to watch the pennies.
Yeah,
You need to watch everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, if you're watching pennies, you're watching everything.
No. That's not true.
Right.
You could be watching only the income of pennies and not the spending of pennies. I'm gonna tell you the biggest hoax y'all ever want to see. Have y'all ever went to a store and they say we'll the change will go up to the next dollar?
Yeah.
And that the difference in it they'll donate to whatever organization they got.
Sir.
That organization right now is worth millions of dollars, and it's just the change. Like if your stuff is $9.82, right? You looking at that, you have 18 cents change. They'll say we'll go up to $10, and you'll get just a straight $10 charge. That 18 cents goes to whatever organization. Man,
now watch this.
When you start calculating all of that 18 cents, now technically you just spent the pennies. 18 cents. Yeah, go ahead. And it's for what?
Right.
Charity fund?
Right.
Go ahead. You do it. Bro.
Now watch this.
Start doing your upcharge on everything you spend and start looking back at how much you've spent as pennies.
Now watch how I'm gonna show you how I save money. I'm gonna show you how I save money.
Show me how you save money.
Now, I've been doing this as a child.
Okay, go ahead.
Every dollar that I spend,
Yes, sir.
I keep the change.
Okay.
And I got containers at the house. At the end of the day, I take that change of every day and I put it in that container.
All right.
So you know those back then we used to have
5-gallon Ozarka bottle.
Kentwood.
Okay.
Yeah, the Kentwood.
All right.
Yeah. I used to have 2 or 3 Kentwood jugs full of change. Then I used to spend time, you know, on when I wasn't working, and I sit at the home, give me some penny wrappers and some dimes and quarters and nickels, and I sit back, and that's how I used to count my money. And I take it and I put it up. And instead of this day, I got a lot of dimes and a lot of quarters, and then I got to the point where I would save nothing but quarters. Then I got to a time where at one time it was just dimes, you know. But I always started out as a child. I would see a penny on the ground, and I would pick it up, take it home.
Okay.
I would never spend pennies. So like if I spend $100 bill, that $100 bill no longer exists. So I started taking that change or the $100 bill, like the 20s and the ones, and then I started a time where I would just say $1 bills.
Right.
I wouldn't spend $1 bills. I just keep them to the side and just put them up. If you start doing that and putting it to the side, your bank account will increase.
But what are you doing now though? Because we are in essentially a cashless society, right? Most of your transactions are going to be done with a credit card or with a charge card, like, you know, a bank card. So what are you doing now? I mean, the saving has definitely slowed down.
Yes, it slowed down, but it still exists. But you can also go into your bank and have them around your spending off sometime of $1 and put it into a savings.
Right. So, and then they have the Acorns app as well.
Yeah.
You know, Acorn is going to take the little change that you have, the little acorns that are left over, and roll that into some type of investment account. So that'll be real good to just keep you, you know, rolling with what you've been doing since you was a kid. I like it.
Well, see, I never got into Acorn.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the exact same thing. Yeah. Okay. So when you swipe your card, it's doing the same thing that you already been doing. Okay. Ken. Got my man.
Yeah, we got to get started.
Welcome to the Rebuilding Futures podcast. I'm your co-host, Kenneth Young. We have Elric Truvillion in the building, Mr. Christopher Shankles, and Mr. Aaron Charles. What is up, fellas?
What's up? We got a full house.
What's going on? How you doing, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Well, yes, we do have a full house. So we started out, I think we said today we were going to talk about, Chris was saying, the importance of being in the room, but not just being in the room. When you're in the room, making sure you're not a zero in the room. I think one of the things that people really need to understand is, like I tell my son all the time, don't ever be a zero. When somebody multiplied by you, if you're a zero, takes away from them. At least be a 1. So when you add you to the situation, if you don't give much, you just don't stop them from being who they are. But if you're a zero and you get in somebody's situation, you take away from whatever they are. If they 10 and they multiply by you, they get nothing. So the importance of being in the room, but being of produce while you're in the room, as my grandfather would tell me. So okay. Chris, that was your topic. You want to start it off?
Yeah, we can definitely start it off.
Like you over there adding up some money, man.
I am.
Hopefully that's some money you owe me. You ain't never owed me nothing, but I'm hoping that's some money you owe me. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I messed your thought up.
I'm just looking. I'm trying to. Hey,
no.
You look sleepy. You may want to go in there.
Yeah, I'm looking. I said, wait a minute. I'm like. He said it. I hope it's some money I owe.
Come on, Mr. Nelson. Come on now, Mr. Nelson.
I stopped right then and there and said, wait a minute. Which Chris? You talking about that Chris?
Yeah, that Chris. Christopher Nelson.
Christopher Nelson.
No. You over there, you got some numbers over there. I'm looking at these numbers, some long numbers, and I just said, I hope it's some money that you owe me that you adding up.
No, sir.
Okay, we know that, but can I hope?
No, you cannot hope for that. No, sir. We gonna hope for something you can actually obtain.
Right.
But no, yeah. This is what I'm talking about, y'all.
Okay.
And what we discussed prior to us coming on air or coming live or however y'all would like to put it, what we were discussing is not only being around people of success and putting yourself around people that can make a difference in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. And so it's fine to be in a room of millionaires, or it's fine to be in a room of influential people in any shape, form, or fashion, but it's better for you to have a service or something that they need. Not just be in the room and around them, but be in a room with something that they could value in you, whatever that may be. Some of us, it could be that we have a singing talent, okay? We may not have the money that they have, but if we're in the room with producers, executive people that own Sony records or whatever the case may be, and we have something that they want, now we're valuable to that room, okay? We're just not in there listening to a bunch of talented people do what they do, and I say, oh, I know Berry Gordy, or I know, Dr. Dre, or I know 50 Cent, or whatever the case may be. We're saying, well, I have a talent that they are looking for, and I'm important to them.
Right.
So whatever that may be, we started this off because we were talking about the development of how Dallas is prospering with real estate and everything of that nature. So we were talking about as Scoot, which is Eric Trevelyan, is that he is in transportation, okay? He also owns his own 18-wheeler. So with that being said, these people, no matter who they are and how many millions of dollars they're spending on development and land purchases and things like that, none of their ideas, none of their plans will work without transportation delivering material and a service to them.
Right.
So if Eric was in the room with these people and they look at him and say, what do you do? And he said, I'm a truck driver. And they were like, well, what is he doing in the room? How do you
not have me in the room?
Yeah. How do you think you're going to get your supplies to the destination that it needs to go to?
Right.
And now all of a sudden you are the most valuable person in the room.
Right.
Because all they have is ideas, and they have basically they have a plan. They have blueprints. They have all of that. But even if they had the workers on site ready to work, without you delivering the material, without that material being provided to them, they just have a lot of idle workers.
Right. So, a question comes to mind as we're talking about walking in a room and that room being a room of value. How do you seize the opportunity? How do you seize that opportunity? Because all of us have been in rooms before that we knew we were stepping up to. Some rooms you step into, some rooms you step up to. And we know that we've all been in a room that we stepped up in. And I think that one of the ways that you make sure that when you walk in there is by always knowing your place at the table.
Exactly. That's exactly
First and
what I was
foremost.
going to say. You have to know your value,
Right.
and what you can bring to any table.
Right.
And sometimes, y'all, and this is what I want to encourage everyone. When you walk into a room, if you truly know your value, your worth, okay, the room may be discussing something that doesn't even remotely involve you.
Right.
But you need to have the confidence to change that situation where you become valuable to that room.
Right. Absolutely.
In the conversation. And that's not saying you have to be the most talkative person,
Right.
or a controlling person to control a situation or the environment or whatever. That is turning the tables in your favor, where things will work out best for you. And that's what, think about it. I mean, that's what we're really all living for anyway, is our personal gain in some way or another, whether it be faith, it be financial, it may be friendship, it may be love. We're all looking for a personal gain in life. So with that being said, just know who you are and what you can bring to the table. And once you know that, then if you're in a room with certain people, you know your value. But if you're not, separate your place in that room, because you don't bring any value. Separate yourself and put yourself in a room where you can bring value, because then you can be respected as one.
Yes, sir.
You would also be acknowledged for who you are. People will then say, "Oh my God, Aaron Charles, we need him in the room." Why do we need Aaron Charles? Well, because we know him and we know what he brings to the table. So you no longer have to speak. Once your value is recognized and identified, what you would do is say, "Hey, my value speaks for itself." You don't have to be an eloquently speaking person or anything of that nature. You just have to be a person that is for sure about who you are and what you bring to the table, and everything else will work out.
Right. So, a lot of things. So I have a friend of mine that always talks about people, places, and things, right? The people that you're around, the places that you're in, and the things that you do while you're in those spaces with those people are going to determine what your destiny is, right? So if you are around people, places, and things, walking in your destiny, and you use faith to guide you, then those rooms are already going to be set up so that you can walk in those doors with the confidence of knowing that you can own a room. My goal, if I go into a business situation or even a personal situation where I really want to make an impact, is I promise myself that I will never leave the room the same way that I walked into it, personally. And it's not about putting on a show. The last thing I want to do is be an actor for someone and come outside of myself, right? I want to be authentically myself, give people who I really am, and deliver a message of substance so that people will grab a hold of it and want to do something different, right? My job isn't to browbeat or to put a burden on someone until they feel like they have to do something. My job is to compel people to do something different that's going to work in my favor, right? And when I say work in my favor, it's a lot of different things. We talked about how people do stuff for self-gratification. Even if I'm a philanthropist and I'm giving things away and I'm helping a mass amount of people, I'm still going to get some satisfaction out of my philanthropy. So, the fact that we say that it's a self-serving mission doesn't mean that it's totally selfish, right?
Exactly.
There's a difference between self-serving and selfish. If I'm satisfied by my philanthropy because I know that I'm doing good things for people who can't do it for themselves, that's not selfish. That's self-serving, and it's also serving my society or a society that I have a care and concern for, and I know that I can meet a specific need. One thing, though, that is really important about walking into these rooms and dealing with these different people is this. Sometimes you'll get invited into a room that really has no value to you, really. And the reason that I say that is because oftentimes we'll find ourselves, if we have a desire to reach these different heights or touch these different people, sometimes we can be given an invitation, and that invitation will placate us, right? So the invitation will placate us by being an invitation to a table that really is not significant, really is not going to be any change, because the tables that we really need to be invited to, we're not being invited to those tables. And they'll say, "Hey, instead of this, come to this table, come and join us over here." And they think that's going to satisfy us when we know that our capacity is above and beyond that room, that table, that circle, that circumstance. And people will try to just basically pet you on the neck and make you feel good about being let into one circle when the truth is there's a barrier around the one that you really need to be let in. So we have to use wisdom when we're working in these different circles and trying to crack these codes. And a lot of it's going to come down to self-representation. Like, how do you really represent yourself in the public space? There is a difference between your personality and your persona.
Exactly.
Right? Your personality can definitely shape your persona, but your persona has to be on point when you walk into these different rooms, because if your persona isn't on point and you allow only your personality to be the forefront presentation of who you are, sometimes you'll step outside of what's most important in that room.
Okay, I got a question.
I got an answer. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, so is it I'm being invited into this room, or I'm just so happen to be just in the room? Am I being, or am I actually walking into the room?
Well, I don't
Be
think
either one.
I mean, there are rooms that you can be invited into because, like Chris and Aaron was saying, there are people who will try to pull you into a room because you being in that room benefits them.
Right. Yes, sir.
So, but it may not benefit you. So it's like you have a bunch of people that are trying to do a thing that your skill set serves, then they'll try to pull you into that room because it helps you. It helps them having you in that room. But then there are other rooms that you get invited to when they look and say, I think you have a value. And with your value and what I have, I can bring you up to this point. And a lot of us sometimes won't go in that room because, like Chris said, we won't feel like we have the value. And so we'll look in the room, we'll peep in and go, wait a minute, they're more than me. So I don't want to go in that room because I'm gonna feel uncomfortable in that room.
Right.
So I'm gonna stand outside and watch them. When you get that invitation, you gotta run in that room. I'm quiet a lot of places I go because I'm listening. Mm-hmm. So if you invite me into it, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna sit back, I'm gonna listen. I'm going to see what you're talking about. I'm going to study you. I'm going to study you. I'm going to study you.
You're going to study
the room. And then the next time I come in, I'm going to have more of a conversation because I found out about you. I found out about you. And then I can talk to you on your terms in that room. And that's a good place to be because, like they say, you are the sum total of your 5 closest people you have around you. Whatever they doing is what you're going to be doing.
Right.
It's funny. I'm going to tell you a little story real quick. The thing that I love about my cousin, I always say this, throw this out there on the podcast.
You said a lot of times.
No, he always knew me. So he knew what rooms to not invite me in.
Okay.
So he goes, no, this is not your room.
Right.
Now, growing up, y'all could be like brothers.
Yeah.
So I want to hang out. No, I want to ride where you ride. But this is not your room. So I'm going to drop you off at the house. Mm-hmm. I'll come pick you back up when we doing your room stuff. Mm-hmm. So like when you said, there's some people will invite you into the room. Some friends will invite you into a room that's not your room. Okay. And then that has a bad reaction for you. You end up getting caught up in stuff you didn't want to be caught up in. But when somebody loves you, they go, wait a minute, I may be in this room, but this is not your room.
Right.
So I'm going to kick you out of this room right now. And then you go find the rooms that you're comfortable in, that you can exist in.
So let me get an understanding because, I like to be talked to like I'm a 2-year-old.
Okay, go ahead.
So this word room.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's throwing me 2 different ways.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You say walk into a room. So this my mind is I'm going a million different ways.
Okay.
My room is at one time is saying a conversation or it's saying a group of people.
Okay.
That I'm hanging out with.
Okay.
Not necessarily a room. Okay. And then room is actually a office room.
Okay.
So am I on the same page? When we speak on that?
When we speak in rooms, and this is what I mean.
Yes, let's give this definition of room.
Let me,
so people can, because remember, I am a 2-year-old.
Okay, right. Yeah. So we're going to break it down as a 2-year-old can understand.
Remember, Chris, hold on 1 second before you do, because one of our guest co-hosts is replying up there. She's saying, y'all can see it better than me from back here. Aaron, what is she saying? That's honest.
Walk in the room.
So
she said, make it shift.
Yeah, she said, know your value. Know the audience in the room and see how or what you can add. What's needed in the room that I may have.
Right.
Exactly.
What is needed in the room?
That's what is needed. And see, here's.
Oh,
now,
Grace, go ahead, Grace.
Hold on.
Tell her.
I got. Call in, Grace.
Call in.
Call in.
Hold on, no, y'all. I got something.
Go ahead, just call in.
I got something for Grace. Okay, this is directed to Grace. Grace. What is the guy who Apple? What is his name?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs.
Yes,
My
sir.
son
Steve
knows.
Jobs made a statement that was incredible. It was very powerful. He said, they asked him, well, what is your secret to success? He said, there is no secret. He said, what I did was I made people believe that their want was a need.
Right?
Yes.
That's all I did. I didn't conjure up something miraculous and all of a sudden it happened. Boom, there it goes.
Right.
He said, I only produced something and then I fed information to the right people that made them think that they needed what I had to offer.
Right.
That was it. And so if you think about it, when we were growing up, we communicated just fine with a wall phone. We waited by the phone, we picked it up, we answered it. It had a cord running from one place to another. We communicated just fine.
I don't know about that, but go ahead.
We did.
Yeah, we did with a 75-foot cord and a cord
There
extender.
you go.
And
Hey,
all.
bro, let me tell you
come on,
something.
Man. Don't forget about
I had
that
the
day.
kitchen phone upstairs.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because I had joining cords,
Yes, sir.
cords
Yes,
that
sir.
ran from downstairs off the kitchen wall, brother, up to my room.
So they
Because
know
my
it-
dad wouldn't let me have a phone
man.
in my room.
You didn't have no phone in your room?
What? No. No.
This back
So-
when a waterbed was the world. Now.
Yeah, that's
Come
what
on
you
now,
said.
don't-
Hey,
come on now.
and we
Oh,
couldn't
and-
even have a waterbed, Aaron, because we had it upstairs and it would have fell through.
Come
We
on,
could-
man.
Yeah, man, let me tell you that. So that is real talk. So you have to understand that he came up with an idea and said, look, I may not have any value in this room.
Right.
But this is what I'm going to offer. And before I finish speaking, you're going to think that you need what I have to offer. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, Grace, I mean, well, you always come on time. Grace, come on in.
So, so basically what it sounds like you're saying is that a convincing conversation is something that has substance in a room that you step in.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You have to step in with a convincing conversation. And if you have a belief in what you represent, right? We'll start with that, because if you don't believe in it, then you shouldn't be representing it at all. But if you have a real, truthful belief in what you represent, then the convincing conversation should be tied to that. And that should be used to sway the people in the room, right? If you have a good purpose.
Okay.
There's people who don't have a good purpose that use the same tactics and they steer rooms and groups and society in different directions. But I mean, for all the men that are in this room, we've been on that side before.
Yeah.
Right. Thank God that we're on the other side of it right now. But so a room that I've stepped in before was a public speaking arena. Right. I am over a 15-year Toastmaster. Been a 2-time Toastmaster president, 1-time vice president of education for Toastmasters. That's a worldwide speaking organization, and it helped to shape me in my presentation of my thoughts. And I'm real thankful for it, because it helped me organize thoughts, give them out, and receive criticism without feeling any type of negative ways about there, right?
Okay.
And so when you step into a room, you have to be able to, with organized thoughts, deliver things with a tone, a pitch, and a cadence that's going to matter to the people that are listening. So you have to have a message designed for maximum impact, right? To step in a room and not already have a forethought about what you're going to deliver is going to leave you on the losing end of the conversation. It may not even be a conversation. It may be a one-sided rant that you choose to deliver, and the people that are standing around in the group don't find it valuable at all. So preparing ahead of time is a way that you can get in front of stepping into a room. I don't know about you guys. So me and my son were talking about it. You know, if somebody does something to violate me or make me feel frustrated, and I respond like I'm just so caught off guard that I respond in a way that I don't typically think that I would respond, no matter what that may be, it plays over and over in my mind after the fact. And I think to myself, the next time something like that happens, I'm going to say this, or I'm going to do this. And so I'm going to practice it 50,000 times when I really don't want that thing to happen to me again. But if it does, now I'm ready. I had a woman who is the national trainer for finance with AutoNation tell me something that stuck with me. She said, the first time somebody steps into your office and they hit you with something that you haven't heard, you're caught off guard. The second time, you're unprepared.
The third time.
You ought to be on it.
Okay, let me. Okay,
Third time. Won't be no third time.
No, let me go with that. Okay, I have been in several rooms that someone can say something that I have no knowledge of. And
I jumped on my live, see what's going on.
one of the things that I would do is I'm quiet until I can absorb as much information about what the topic is as I possibly can. And so then after that, it may not even be a place for me to speak.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So I can walk into that room and notice this is not a conversation for me to be a part of.
Right.
And so sometimes people, they have a fear. They have a fear of not having the right words to say.
Right.
Or that it may not sound. And my father he couldn't say shrimp. Mm-hmm. So there was just certain times he would want to order the shrimp, and he would just point at the menu like, I want this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Give it to me. I can pay for it.
And they would look at it and, you want fried shrimp or whatever. My father would be like, that's exactly what I want, right? But
Shank.
let me tell you how
big shank
that was, okay?
Shrimp.
He allowed them to correct his error.
Okay.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Instead of him delivering the message, I can't say it. Mm-hmm. All right. He said, I want this right here.
He got creative.
He got creative in his way of delivery.
Well, you could drop an anchor right there.
Okay.
I like it.
So what I'm saying is there's a lot of rooms that we may be into.
Yes, sir.
That we might not know how to deliver the message, but sometimes that's our times to be quiet.
Right.
Find out what the message is that you need to deliver, and then create your own way to get your point across where you showing your value.
Yes, sir. Yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir.
They are understanding in their language, but everybody is now satisfied.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you
sir.
don't seem like, you're not, producing what they want to hear. You don't have something, going down the pipeline that they can relate to.
Right.
Because let's just be honest, y'all. There's a lot of people that their skill of communicating is not that advanced. Mm-hmm. Let's just be honest.
It's a lot of people out there.
It's a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
But then you have people, they can use all the right words and have no meaning to anything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They just know how to put words together.
Yes,
but
sir.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yes, sir.
So sometimes the most powerful person in the room is the most quiet person in the room.
Now, let me say this. Let me add this. And this is the way I tell my kids, and I train my kids, that I ask them, I say, well, how many miles do you have? Count your miles. How many miles do you have?
1.
How many ears do you have?
2.
So you need to do what? Less talking and more listening.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, I was always told the loudest wheel on the wagon needs what?
Grease.
The most grease.
Exactly.
The most grease. The quietest one in the room always get more information. The quietest person in the room gets the information. The quietest person in the room is always not the worstest person in the room. Most of the time, it's the deadliest person in the room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I walk into a room or when I walk into a conversation, sometimes I become the conversation, and most of the time, I try to be a listening ear to the conversation. And that way I could see and know what I can get, like we say, to add value to the conversation. I add value to the situation. A lot of times you don't win.
Okay.
But you get heard.
Okay.
And that's okay.
Let me ask you this. So what about the conversations that become uncomfortable? And what I mean by that, let's say if we're in a room and we're the only male in the room, right?
Okay.
And you have a room full of women, and for whatever reason they've been hurt or they're frustrated with the actions of other males.
Okay.
Because there's something, I hate using the word man,
right?
Because men don't do certain things.
I'm asking you this question. So in this room, how many doors is in this room?
What do you mean?
You can't count the doors in this room.
Exactly.
It's impossible to count the doors in this room, right?
So there's more doors.
There's more doors.
We're talking about a room full of women.
Yes.
And multiple doors.
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
I'm running.
What? So
No,
no.
no.
So I
See,
thought, okay, so we're in two different places, right? We're in two different places.
We in two totally different
Yeah,
places.
But he lost me again.
Right now.
Hey,
Said, how many doors are
when he
in
said
this
how many
room?
doors in this room,
Right.
it's only one.
Right.
But the doors of opportunity in this room is
now.
endless.
Come on, man.
So when you said how
where I'm
many
at.
doors in this room,
You can't count them.
it's endless. You can't
Right.
count them.
Right.
Okay.
I don't know how many doors you can open for
Right.
me or
Right.
Aaron or
Right.
Kenneth or any of the listeners.
Right.
So it's endless of how many
Everybody
doors.
has their own door. Chris's
Right.
door is Chris's door. Aaron's door is Aaron's
Exactly.
door. My door is my door. Your door is your door. To the same exact room.
Exactly.
Everybody has their own door.
But guess what? Within those doors are other doors, my man. So just like I have my own door, right? But when I open my door,
It's many doors.
you guys are present.
right.
Right.
And so now I have three different avenues that I can go through just by opening that one door.
Right.
You understand? And that's life.
Right.
You know, if you get your college degree, right, that's a door
door.
you went through,
Yes,
which
sir.
opens a vast
more
variety
doors.
of doors
That's
for
right.
you.
Right.
So that's just life. You know, you have to understand that. But my perspective of life, as y'all done told me, I'm a little bit different. You know, and a lot of people say it.
A lot of people say
You know, and so what I am familiar with is like being in a room where I'm outnumbered, and I use women, and they have been hurt by males, and
Yes,
so
sir.
they're giving me the input. Well, ironically enough, I feel I can hold my own because a lot of things that I can see that has damaged those women, I've never partaken in.
Okay.
So I'm not the one that offended them,
Okay.
even though but see, I'm a man,
Right.
not a male.
Right.
So a lot of things that has hurt women and things like that had been done by a male, and we keep saying man.
And not a man.
Men don't abandon their children.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? So when you hear deadbeat father, this and that, that's not a man. That is a male. And that's what he has done. There's not a person in this room has abandoned their children. So we can run the title of hey, we're close enough to a man as we can seek. You know what I'm saying? So when you know that the room could be against something close to you, but not necessarily to you, you have to learn how to decipher what is truly for you and what's not.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you start thinking that the problems of the world is your problem, that's when you're no longer going to survive in that room.
Yeah, because you can't save everybody.
You can't save everybody.
can't save everybody.
You have to understand, listen, I understand there's 50 of you ladies and y'all have been hurt by men and
Right.
whatever. You'll have a woman say, well, someone raped me. Lady, I've never raped anybody in my life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, that man, no, he was not a man. He
Right.
was a male.
Right.
You know, and he did something to you that is unspeakable. And just for being part of the male species, you know what I'm gonna tell you? I'm sorry. That's old. That was wait a minute.
Yeah, that's
real. I think I hurt somebody with that one. I think I heard some really male chauvinist men that I just apologized to a group of women for something that I didn't even do.
Right.
But sometimes that's needed.
Right. It's needed.
It's needed.
It's needed. It's
You know what
very
I'm saying?
needed.
I'm sorry that you went through that, and you know we'll do whatever it takes to change your opinion of what you think a man is. Because instead of me taking something from you, I'd rather give something to you. So we can change that.
So at 42 years old, right? Recently divorced. Was separated for a couple of years, trying to work that thing out. So I kind of got out, you know, ran around Dallas, and you know, just went out and enjoyed some of the nightlife, just experienced some different things. I consider myself a massive conversationalist, and I would love to have conversations with as many people as possible, whether it's male, female. But when I engage the female population of Dallas, at my age, around 40, you know, maybe up to 45, down to about 38. One thing I realized is this, and I've shared this with a few women. I say, you know, talking to so many different women and having conversations, I realized that at this point in life, you are the sum of what life has had to offer you, plus all the things that you've been through with every man that you've ever come into contact with. So when I talk to you and then I hear back from you, a lot of times it doesn't even seem like you're talking to me. It seems like you're talking to the last 15 men that you've had relationships with on whatever level you chose to relate with them on, and vice versa. It seems like I'm having a conversation with the person who is talking to all of those people, because there's no way with what I'm giving out you could give me back conversation like that and think that it's on the same level.
Exactly.
Right. And that doesn't mean that I have a higher opinion of myself than I should. It's just that you are the accumulation of all of the hurt that you've been through plus your life experiences. Right.
Exactly.
And so when you're in a room with people like that, one thing that I've learned to do is take a step back, recognize that I'm in a situation that has the power to sway the outcome of what I'm approaching or sway the outcome of what I desire. Respect the fact that it does, and then reset and reapproach in a way that's going to be the most effective, right? Not only for me, but also for the person that I'm engaging at that time.
So how do you do that, Aaron?
So one thing that I do is I take note. I take a quick mental inventory of the things that are coming from a person, the physical disposition that they have, the tone of voice and inflection that they use. And while I'm taking all of this in, by the grace of God, somehow my mind says, hey, this is the response that this person needs in this season, right? Because we know that we go through physical seasons in this world. We go through summer, spring, fall, and winter, but we also as humans go through different seasons in our life. This person may not be in a reaping season. They may be in a planting season, right? And so if they're not here to harvest, maybe they're here to plant. Maybe this person is going to speak to me about some things that I need to change in my life without saying, hey, I think that engaging you for the last 5 minutes, this is something that I think would benefit your life. You have to have a very keen ear to listen to what the atmosphere, to what your spiritual compass, and to what good sense is telling you is for you and for someone else. If a person is in a reaping season, you have an opportunity to deliver something to that person, then give it to them. But if they're in a planting season, right? If it's not reaping season for that person, they're planting, you have to be able to see that with the things that they're sharing with you. They may be so full of hurt, or they may be so full of comeback at the moment. They hit you with something, and that person is not for you, but the message was, it was your season to either receive or to deliver. One of the two. And you have to figure that out in 2 seconds.
What about you?
I would say,
go ahead.
You said a room full of women. I grew up in a house full of women.
Absolutely. And that's why I knew for sure that you could relate to what I'm saying, because throughout our whole lives, Kenneth, you always outnumbered by women.
Yes.
And those women were experiencing, no, this is no lie,
like
y'all.
It's war, though.
This is dead serious.
But no, Grace, she agrees with you. She's a woman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, she just.
Oh, okay, I did.
True, Aaron.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but Kenneth he grew up in a house full of women.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
So when he acted like a man,
Mm-hmm.
it was like, wait a minute, let me tone him down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't act like that around here. Because you have to understand, he was in a war zone every day he woke up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have a comfort zone. We had the dad with us, or a brother, or this and that and other.
Right.
By the time Kenneth was growing up, Wayne had already moved away from the house.
Right.
So it was Kenneth, nothing but ladies. And it was very biased. It was you're gonna have to tailor to what we doing, because don't all that testosterone and aggressiveness, you need to take that and tone that down. Right. And then Kenneth would come over to our house, and my dad would open the front door. Ken, what's up? Shake his hand, hug him. What's happening? Going on? Go on upstairs. Chris upstairs. You know what I'm saying? What y'all finna do today? What y'all, And it was aggressive. It was, shake my hand. We gonna grab each other and throw each other on the ground. We gonna.
That's what boys do.
That's what boys do, right?
Yeah.
So whenever I mentioned that, being in a room full of all women,
yes, sir,
I knew Kenneth had valuable input.
Yeah.
Like I said, one day you control the situation. You gonna make the room turn into something you want.
Right.
He wasn't even included, but the words that I said, he already related to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like, wait a minute, he's talking about my life.
Right.
Yeah,
He's talking about, being in a room full of women, and it would intimidate somebody, the average male, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kenneth say, I'm at home.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean, intimidate me?
Mm-hmm.
This is where I thrive.
Mm-hmm.
I've been around women all my life. I know how to speak this language.
And they going and when you get in, you can be in a room full of a bunch of people. You get in a room full of a bunch of women. They're gonna always try to talk to you and make you defend men. So
Absolutely.
If they've been hurt by men, they're going to look at you as you're the man in the room right now. We're
Stand
having
in.
trial,
Yeah.
and you're on trial.
Right on.
That's every.
Yeah.
Hey, and you know what?
That's
Yes, sir.
all men.
Yes, sir.
Let me tell you something.
Hey,
But
you
You can go
give it
get
to
and
me.
woman. You can go get and woman. They ain't never met each other. You can go get and woman. They ain't never. They are going to stick together. And that one man.
Because they went through the same.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Pain,
Yes,
and they
sir.
Look at us. I look exactly like my dad. What I've been told. I've seen him. I don't see the resemblance, but everybody say I look exactly like my dad.
Okay.
So growing up, I had to account for my dad's issues.
Yeah, because you look like
Because
it.
Atonement for sin.
look
Yes,
like.
sir.
And so what you can end up doing, you can do two things. You can either accept the fate of what they're saying. Oh,
Okay.
men do this, men do this.
Okay.
Until you learn to stand on who you are. So if I was in a room like Chris's initial question, if I was in a room full of a bunch of women, they asking all these questions about what men do, I'd have to first say, you're talking about, if it's 50 men in this room, 50 women in this room,
He
you're
answered you
talking
not, Grace.
about the 50 men that you talk to. You're not talking about Kenneth Young.
Right.
Because you didn't date me. You
Right.
didn't go through that.
Exactly.
stuff with me.
That's
I'm not
exactly
here
what.
to, I'm not here to stand trial for all men.
Exactly.
Because like Chris say, some of the stuff that they did to you are not what men do. You have to understand. And what I will say this, I will say this.
What's
If
that?
I was in that room, part of my first thing I tell them is you got to be accountable. Okay?
Exactly.
You may want to hold somebody responsible for what happened to you. But men, in the true sense of the word men, a man, a human being man, doesn't, like Chris said, abandon his kids because that's
Exactly.
not in our instinct. Now, an animal does
Exactly.
because in their instinct, they're not supposed to stay.
Hey.
They're just there for breeding.
That's it.
And then they breed, and then they go on, and the mother takes care of the eggs. And some animal instincts.
And some,
a
right.
woman,
Because in some animal instincts,
the man
The-
does
the
stay
man.
in
Man
lines
does
and all
stay,
the rest of it,
exactly.
but it's in their instinct.
Instincts.
So it's not in the instinct of a man to disappear. So, woman, if you 50 women in this room and all 50 of y'all had
Praise the
men
Lord.
that disappeared, let's not start with the men. What's wrong with the men?
Right.
Let's start with what about you made you breed with someone who instinctively is not a man.
Exactly. And I'm gonna tell you
Because
what
I
it
can't
mostly
stand
is.
trial for all of
I'm
them.
finna tell you what it mostly is because they never knew what a man was when they started connecting.
Right.
They had an image in their mind of what a man was, and because he gave them good sex or he did this or whatever the case may be, oh, he's a man. And then after they couldn't identify with their picker being broke, because that's what it's about. You're not going to have all these horror stories if your picker was right.
Right.
If your picker was right, you would have picked out the person that you have the most in common with and a true definition of what that is. Let me tell y'all something.
Because hold on, you remember this poem I used to do? It was called you remember BEWA. So the poem is BEWA.
You gonna
There
hit
you
it?
go.
No, I'm not gonna do the poem right now, but it was BEWA.
Tell them what it was, Ken.
what can we find?
Tell them what it was,
I want to
Ken.
hear the poem, kid.
Tell them what it was, Ken.
It
Not
was
that-
about
not the
women.
P-
The poem is essentially you go to a club and you see a guy,
Mm-hmm.
and you look over there at him and you look, oh, now he fine.
Yep.
But then you see him talking to 4 different women, and you see a B, okay? And then you blow that off. Oh, but he really is. He's spending money. So you like the fact he's spending money. But then you see him slap some woman on the ass, and you see an A. So when you out picking, as Chris said, you using your picker, you're going to see the signs. So you're going to see the words BEWA, but then you end up giving them some. And after you give them some, you sit back when you're feeling hurt and you read the rest of the sign. BEWAREOFDOG. If you sit back when we were kids, we walked by those houses that had that sign up on the fence.
Beware of dog.
Beware of dog. We walking towards that fence because we want to get some water or something. We read that sign, we stop. Why? Because nobody wanted to get bit.
By the dog.
But
By
when
the
people
dog.
are out and
Exactly.
they have their clubs and everything else, everybody has a sign. You can see the sign of somebody.
Right.
But you don't finish reading the sign because the stuff that you like about them
Them
makes
blind
you
you.
stop reading.
Right.
Them blind
You go ahead and get with him, and then once you get with him and he don't call you back, or once you get pregnant and he not saying the words you want to say, now you can focus. Now you sit back and finish reading, and when you read it, you go, well, shit, it was there the whole time.
Exactly.
Right.
Well, I disagree.
What do you mean?
I disagree.
How do you disagree?
He's something else.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then after that, hold on. Grace had a question. That's
Kenneth answer the question.
Yeah, he was when she was putting it up there. He was writing them.
Oh, he was already doing it.
He was already doing it.
Go
ahead. I hope he answered your question, Grace.
So you said you disagree.
I disagree because
Why
we had
do
this
you disagree?
podcast back before we talked about this.
Okay.
Yes, I agree and I disagree. There are flags. There are the club, and that's why you put time and situations into a relationship, wherever it may be. Some guys and some women are very clever. Some people have a double-sided personality.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
They have a double-sided life. They have a double-sided, and you'll never even see that. You know, you have people that's been married or have been together for years and find out that they are a different type of person.
Okay.
You know, and that's what I tell people about a relationship. A relationship is a lifetime. You go a lifetime knowing and not knowing the person that you lay with or the person that you've been friends with or the person that you stay with. You go a lifetime and never even know that person. So people are clever and cunning.
Okay.
And I have to say that some women can catch the red flags and some women can't.
So let me ask you this. So I heard it said some years ago that people change mentality and physically and all that every 7 years. There's like a cycle. You know what I'm saying? We change perspectives, mentalities, physically, stuff like that. So I agree that, you know, you can be with somebody a whole lifetime and never completely know them because every day we're changing.
Yes.
Okay.
Every day we're changing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So you're saying we're changing for the better or for worse, whichever way it is changed.
Whichever way.
Okay.
Whichever way.
So here's something I want to run past you guys.
And real quick, Chris, Anna's on the phone. Anna, can you hear us?
We can't hear her.
We can't hear Anna.
Jay High.
Anna.
Come on, Jay High in the bed.
Can you hear us?
Hear me? I hear you.
Oh, we can now.
Okay. Yes, we can, Anna. How you doing?
Happy Sunday, y'all.
Hey, happy Sunday, Anna.
Glad you called in. Look, save me from these guys. Cause
I'm saying I want to piggyback off you said, Mr. Trevelyan. I
Yes, ma'am.
disagree because I have been in situations myself, and I'm just gonna be real about it, where you know people were not very forthcoming about who they were or who they are as a person, and it doesn't have anything to do necessarily with me as a woman not picking. You know what I'm saying? All the time. Now, maybe here and there were some things that I could be accountable for and be like, you know what? I noticed and I did not stick to my guns, or I just kept on thinking that the person would, show me something different. But most of the time in this day and age, you're not meeting people for who they are. My grandmother used to say you're meeting their representative.
Yes.
People will put up a facade and they will lead double lives.
Yes.
And you're just being who you are and staying true to who you are as a person. And not long after 6 months, a year or whatever, you find out like, wow, was I naive? Was it my naivety? Or, what was it in me that did not see these things? And sometimes it's not us, it's them.
Yes.
They are cunning, like Mr. Trevelyan said. They are not forthcoming. They're not true to not just me, but who they are.
Who they are. Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to piggyback on that now. I disagree.
Okay.
People will do that, and I'm not necessarily saying I'm disagreeing with you, but I may be. But
Okay,
that's
come on
why
with it. I'm
the
listening.
importance of time. So like even when you start at a job, the job is going to give you a certain amount of probationary period.
Yes.
But nowadays people jump into relationships. So you meet
True.
somebody, you jump into it. Next thing you know, especially at this time, woman trying to have sex with you in a month, in a week, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Couple hours.
Somebody could introduce themselves as a representative, but then it's just like a company. How long do you deal with the person before you give them your whole self to find out if they're being a representative or are they not? Everybody goes so fast now that it's like it's 6 months.
Right.
Well, if you're not sleeping with somebody until 6 months, you spending time to get to know them. If it's a B-E-W-A-R-E of dog, you don't sleep with him for 6 months, he ain't going to be around for 6 months.
Right.
So
Now, I
you
will
find
agree
out
with that.
earlier that he is a dog.
Hold on, I got
It
a
don't mean you're a dog just because you don't stick around.
Yeah.
Okay, let's clean this up.
Yeah,
real
okay.
quick.
If
Because
that's,
Yeah,
if
come
that's
on
what
now.
you're
I'm
I'm not
like,
sticking
Hold on,
around
I only
for
got
6
one
months.
question
I'm
for
just-
Anna as
no
soon as y'all
disrespecting
let me
nobody,
talk.
but
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
want.
doing it.
Hold on, see there you go. Let Anna.
Time.
Let Anna. I got a woman on the phone. I want to hear from this woman.
Yeah, that's
But let me
fine.
clear it up.
I'm not doing
This
no
lady.
more
I ain't gonna
time.
say a woman. I got this lady on the phone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got this lady.
that doesn't want that.
Yeah.
And he doesn't stick. If you say my goal is 6 months,
Yeah.
and he don't stick around for 6 months, then you know that's not the person
Now,
for you.
so
Exactly.
but however, if we are, it's like you say, your grandma said. So like my grandma used to say, if we are cordially courting, that 6 month waiting period really ain't nothing to me because we just kind of
Right.
courting a little bit. I can wait that 6 months out because just like I'm courting with one young lady, I can court another young lady, and I can
Oh, no.
patiently.
Hey, let me tell you something.
can patiently wait
that
on
man
6
is
months.
telling the truth
You know,
because I can wait as long as you want me to wait because I
Yeah.
got old girl back here
And I know where
that
we
is
are.
fulfilling that particular
Right.
need that I desire.
Right.
You the one I want to marry.
Right, correct.
So I'll wait for you.
Correct.
But this one over here, she finna get slayed.
Right.
This is point blank
Right.
period.
Okay, so let's let Anna. Let's
We
let
being
Anna have
honest.
a
Now, I got a question for Anna.
Thank you for honesty. First
Wait,
of all,
let me before I forget what I want to say.
Go ahead,
if I
sweetheart.
must. Now, if that's the person that you want to marry,
Yes, ma'am.
you marry. Although we know love is not always enough. People say in marriage, right? You have to have some other things. You can't just be like, "Oh, I love him. I'm gonna marry him or her."
amen.
However, you have to love the person to even decide that is who you choose to spend the rest of your life with, right?
Right.
Okay, so if that's the person that you love, why are you slaying the other person over here on the side?
Well-
Because if you love me, just as I'm holding out, we should be holding out.
Okay,
and
hold
exploring
on.
and getting to
Hold
know
on. Wait a
and
minute.
supporting
Hold
each
on.
other.
Hold on, Anna. Anna, let me give it to you
Get
raw
in,
and uncut.
get in.
First of all, hold on. Hold on.
You don't
Did
eat
y'all
pork meat, I ain't gonna eat no
understand?
bacon.
Let me
I
tell
like
you.
bacon.
Now, let me tell y'all exactly where Anna went with it. And I'm
Go
going to tell
ahead.
you, Anna, this is Christopher Schenkel.
I know who it is.
When I speak, if you take anything out of content of what I'm saying,
Don't trip out.
that's not what I meant.
Don't trip out now.
I never
Break it down,
once
then.
said
Break
I
it down
loved
now.
you. I never once said I loved you. I said I recognized that I wanted to marry you.
Oh,
But okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I never said I loved you. You said that.
Mhm.
I said I looked at you and I saw
Wife material.
wife material.
right.
But I have needs, so while I'm making sure that you're wife material by giving you all that you've desired and saying, and I'm a good dude, and I'm because I'm acting like I want to act. Okay, I'm being me.
Okay.
I'm just not pushing you to do something you don't want to do because I don't want to lose out on something that could be exactly what I want.
That's fair.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
fair.
So
That's
once
what
I
I mean,
realize, once I fall in love with you,
Go ahead, Shank.
now outside, that's hurting you.
Don't get in trouble here.
When I'm really loving you, when I love you, I'm there to protect you, not to hurt
That's when
you.
you stop.
Okay?
Is that
So
when you stop slaying
that's
the other
when
people?
everything else comes. But guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna come to you and tell you. But let me ask you something, Anna, because I've been wanting to
Okay.
ask you this for a minute.
Come on.
What are your requirements?
Okay. Let's talk about it. So for me,
do I need to break
for
it
me-
down? Because I can break
No,
it down so
well,
you can
you
You're
Go
gonna
ahead.
give it
Before I
to
answer.
me.
you're gonna break down her requirements.
No. I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. Hold on. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Because every woman that I have ever asked, what are your requirements? They tell me an expectation. And then when that guy don't meet up that expectation, they want to say, this and that. No. A requirement is if you don't have this, and this, and you not this, we're not even considering you for the
Okay,
job.
that's what you-
And then
So what I'm asking you is, what is your requirement of a man?
and are they concrete or fluid?
No, it ain't even that. If it's a requirement, it's point blank.
Okay, let's go.
So if he don't have it, if it is number one, my number one requirement for every woman
Pretty
that I've
toes.
ever been with and I have fallen in love with is, are you a woman of God? Because
Okay.
if you truly are a woman of God, you can only treat me so bad. It's just point blank period, because you know it's going to be whooped by a higher power.
Wow.
So you only going to do so much if you truly have God first, Point blank, period. That is a requirement of mine. If you come in the door with you an atheist and all of that, no ma'am. No ma'am. I can't touch you. I can't be around you. Now, can I slay you? Yeah. So I'm asking you, Anna, what is your requirement?
What's your requirements, Anna? Are we strong over here now, Anna? We strong over here now. Yeah, we strong over here now.
I see. I'm like, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
I'm asking.
Okay, I can hold it down now. Okay. So for me, let me go back first on what Mr. Aaron said about, dating or, whatever. These nowadays, people say, oh, the dating pool sucks. It's piss in the dating pool. It's this and that. And I think it's because, first of all, so many different podcasts putting men and women against each other.
Yes.
I feel there's this, the females are so masculine and the men are so sassy. And, it kind of, or then you talk about the passport bros, and it kind of put our Black American men and or sisters and brothers at odds. I feel that's just a me thing. I could be wrong. Y'all can piggyback on it if you want to. Now, when he mentioned about dating, I'm gonna date you, but I'm gonna be kind of doing my own thing on the side. Well, that's what dating is, right? You date around,
yes,
and you get to know the people. Like back in the day, they used to call it courting. The old folks courting, y'all courting. Back then, you couldn't even bring somebody. You couldn't court and then not, get permission from the father for whatever reason. But people are now, they want everything so instantaneous. It's like we live in a microwave society, like y'all talked about the sex. You meet a person 30 days later, they want to, or that night, y'all met a guy last night. And I'm like, what?
It's dress code. It's dress code was bringing it about. Oh, it's dress code.
No, okay. Yes. Go on,
hold on.
Please
let this woman finish because I'm waiting for her to get to her requirement.
I am. So, my thing is, wait, did you say it's dress code?
So Ted's face off.
Dress the way
it's dress code.
I was told you dress the way you want to be addressed. First of all,
no. When I say dress code, it's dress code. Go look at the girls and women that's on the host row, and go look at the club.
Oh no, I agree. That's what I said. You dress. I was told you dress the way you want to be addressed. So if you want to be respected, you dress respectfully.
Okay.
Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly. Because if you walk in the women now in the grocery store. In the college, I went on the college campus, and all I see is booty cheeks.
Yeah.
I drove down Harry Hines, all I see is booty cheeks. Where the hoe at?
Mm-hmm.
Where the hoe at?
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere.
Well, and then they get mad when you want to press up on them.
So you see what I'm saying? Now my imagination is you want me to sex you first date. Mm-hmm. So why will I have any other requirements or any expectations from you when you showed me everything? Exactly. So once again, I go back to say it's the dress code. Look at the dress code.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I agree.
I'm waiting for her.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Boundaries, and let me get to these expectations.
Let's get to
I didn't say expectations. I do not want to hear your expectations. Requirement only.
Yes.
Okay, so are you talking about mine personally?
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Okay, y'all gonna use me today? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Absolutely.
You in that room? You in that room, baby.
You in that room.
Yeah.
We are battered men in here. We want to know what.
I can hold it down. Trust me, I got this. So anyway, for me, a requirement is also you have to love God. Now, I'm not saying you got to go to church every Sunday or whatever, but be relational. You know what I'm saying? Be able to uplift me, be able to pray, get a prayer through, be able to worship God. That's the requirement, right?
Okay.
And then you have to get to know me. I'm not about to be like, I need this, I need that. You got to explore me. You need to invest and get to know what I like, what I don't like. Because if I tell you everything, I don't like this, then you're going to give me just what I said that I like or don't like or either or, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you tell a person, I never had a man to treat me like this. The first thing they going to do is, I never had a man to buy me no roses. He going to buy you them roses because he know where, to meet that need at, whether he's intentional or purposeful about it or not. So I want somebody that's going to explore me as a person, get to know me, take time out, invest in me, because I'm bringing it to the table just as well. Financially, you got to have it together because I know how I hold it down. So, spiritually, financially, I don't want nobody that's sick. You can't come to me. I'm not a caregiver. I'm not about to be, now if we already married and we've been there, down that aisle, that's different. The vows that we take, that's different. I got you. But coming in, I'm not taking on no bad credit.
Okay, so hold on. So let me get this straight. So
Go ahead,
basically, what
Mr.
you're
Chris.
telling me is your requirement. One of your requirements is that he has to be a guy with high beliefs in God, correct?
Of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Your second requirement would be that he is somewhat financially stable, correct?
She say
That
somewhat.
he's financially stable.
So he is
Not somewhat.
so he can't be upcoming. He has to be there.
I think a lot of people go wrong at seeing potential.
Okay.
Sometimes.
All right, no problem.
That's just me.
Okay. So your requirement is for him to be financially stable. Okay. And your last requirement is that he needs to get to know you.
That's the second requirement after
That's the
God.
second. That's the second
The
requirement.
last one was healthy. He needs to be healthy.
And then
He needs to be healthy.
Then he needs to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
So if he has all of that, what good are you?
Oh, no. I just said.
Right.
No, I'm gonna bring
No,
it.
I'm just saying that's your requirement. So when you get that guy, what good are you? I'm asking you, what do you have that will say, I deserve all the things that I require?
That's a fair question.
Oh, look, okay. So I said earlier that I'm bringing just the very thing and more to the table. I'm smart. I'm educated. My credit score is good. I have businesses. I can help him run his business if he have one. That I pray. You know what I'm saying? I'm a family oriented. Now I cooking and cleaning. You know, you meet a female to be like, I can cook. That ain't nothing these days, honey. With Uber Eats and a man can feed himself. You know, you got to be able to bring something else other than butt and breast and I can make some biscuits. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's back in the day. You know, the way to a man's stomach, the heart is through his stomach. Yeah. You want a woman that might be able to do those things, but you want somebody that's of some substance and that can bring when you make a bad investment. How can we get together and brainstorm how we're gonna flip that money and make it back, or take that money and go put it into something else? You know, diversify so that if you lose out over here, baby, we still got money coming in over here.
Okay.
You know, that yeah.
Can
Anna,
I jump in real quick?
Yeah, you can jump in, but hold
Go
on.
ahead,
Anna,
please.
let me tell you something. I appreciate you answering that because at the end of the day, I sit and I talk to my daughters and I ask them what are their requirements. And I've asked a lot of women, what are your requirements? Not what your expectations of a man is or the potential of a man, but what do you require?
Yeah, that's
You actually have requirements, which, believe it or not, if you just go and speak to some of your other lady friends, a lot of them have, once they start telling you things, it's going to be more of an expectation. Because if a guy doesn't have it, but girl, he can get it. He can know if, like you just said, if he's unhealthy, if he's walking in the door and he tells you that I have cancer, I'm battling cancer right now. You do not want to walk into that battle as your this is your initial, hookup. That I now have this lifelong battle with this guy and I don't even know him. I understand that.
Well, I disagree again on that too.
No. Okay. There's no way any of us can disagree with what Anna said because it's her requirement.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's no way anybody can disagree.
I'm not disagreeing with her.
It's just saying, this is what to be with Anna. Every man should listen. So off the top, if you don't have these requirements, there's no reason why you should what they call it, DM her? Am I saying it right? Don't be in a DM.
Before school goes, let me jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I was over here checking boxes. I just want to make sure I'm good here.
I was over here writing down. Okay, I got a little bit of money. Let me see. I went to the doctor and I'm okay. I went to the doctor and Lord said I'm okay. And I went to church this morning. I think I'm part of this here. I got you, Anna. We just teasing.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ken.
But check this out. Here's the problem. This is why people say the dating pool, there's such a problem in the dating pool. It's because when you take all of those attributes and add them up,
Yeah.
Okay.
I say it's fair to say most women have those attributes, or they have those requirements.
Right.
They want somebody with money, or can take care of herself as far as financial is concerned.
Okay.
They want somebody that is healthy.
That's
Okay.
fair.
They want somebody that's into them.
Yep.
Okay.
Like she said, so and loves God.
Okay.
If you go ask 100 women, like Family Feud say, let's ask 100 women. They're all gonna have those same requirements.
Okay.
Now here's the problem. There's not a lot of those guys. Okay.
That's true.
So because there's not a lot of those guys, I always tell, like I told my daughter, you got to shop where you got the credit. Okay. If you don't have the credit to go to Bentley, then you can't go to Bentley. So if you give all these requirements, you better make sure you have the credit and the down payment to get that car. Right. Because everybody is in that line trying to get that car, and
the same car.
And they don't understand what it takes to get that car. When you get a Bentley, you got to put Supreme gas in it, right?
Exactly.
You got to get certain oil.
You do.
Exactly.
You got to have all this stuff. So you can have requirements. Requirements are fine, but then you got to make sure you can afford that guy, because that guy don't come cheap.
No.
If that guy has all of those attributes and everybody wants him, then that means he can get any woman he wants.
Right.
Exactly.
If he can get any woman he wants, then that means what you have, what you bring to the table, got to be something that he wants. And the problem is, most women don't know what that guy wants, because if he has money, he don't need your money.
Right.
So like when Anna said, well, I'm self-sufficient too, I can bring it. Well, if he's a man, like we say, and he has money, he don't need your money.
Exactly.
No, you don't.
That's
He
why.
don't need your money.
Exactly.
Most of the stuff that they think that they bring, the man don't necessarily need.
So I'm gonna walk down your street, Ken. So that's why when it comes to men, a lot of women choose to just Uber black. You ain't gotta have the credit. All you gotta do is dial it up. All you gotta do is dial it up, and the women are just sharing the men out there that meet all the qualifications.
Exactly.
Is it a nice car? Does it have leather? Is it brand new? Let me just dial this up. I'm willing to share this.
And
thing
I'm
like
only gonna be in this car
Yeah.
until I get to my destination.
yeah, come and go.
And once I get to my destination, I'm gonna get out, turn around, thank you, leave, and I'm gone. Here's where the problem is,
give
and
you
I am one of those men.
Don't forget the tip.
I am one of those men, right? Oh, and don't forget the tip.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
Come on now.
You know, so I am one of those men. The problem is, I can meet a woman, and she can meet a lot of my qualifications. But if she don't meet them all, I'm out. Point blank, period.
Right.
You know why? Because I'm in a candy store.
Right.
And I'm a kid. I'm in a
And you can
kid
have
with a
what you want.
candy store, and I can get pretty well what I want sooner or later. Some of it, I'm just not gonna do.
Right.
I'm not gonna buy a woman.
Can I
Point blank, period. I'm just not gonna have.
So let me jump in here right quick before we have to end this. I'm gonna jump in here right quick,
Go ahead.
because I feel real like I'm not even supposed to be in this room.
Yeah, you are supposed to be in this room because you're married.
Yeah, see,
and you are where some of us is trying to go, my brother.
So I just celebrated my 20
Amen.
You know, it's been that
28,
long.
28.
Just say 20 something.
28.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And so, and it's scary. It scares me listening to the requirements and all that, because when we started our relationship, my wife, she said I raped her, but she was 15.
He did not say that on air. No, he didn't. No.
Yeah.
Hey, boy, look here.
Keep it real.
Yeah, I understand, but Jesus, Bill Cosby did something 30 years ago and had to pay for it. You know,
But you let her
you only
tell
in
this story.
28, man. He got 2 more years.
That's a blessing. So give us some wisdom.
So, and like I said, it takes a lifetime. It takes a lifetime, and I'm still learning my wife, and we still court and we date. I don't do nothing. We do everything together. Okay. So when we started out on the phone talking, getting to know each other, and she was telling me her expectations of what she wanted in life, and she was raised in a house. you know, with just her mom, and she was raised this way, she was raised this way, and I was raised this way, and I was raised this way. And we always shared that what we had in common. We had to find out, first of all, what we had in common, what we wanted out of life, our directions, what we was going through. And we shared a lot of that. Now, going through that, it was a lot of ups and downs, but we had more ups than downs. And then we had our first child, and when we had our first child, we were still going through things because we was teenagers. And so doing that, it brought us closer together because we had to go through a lot with family, friends, and a lot of that. And then we came to a point where it was going to be me and her against the world. And that's me and her against the kids, and that's me and her against the family, and that's me and her, because at the end of the day, that's who I'm dying with. So what I brought to the table, what she brought to the table was just knowing each other. Because at that time, she didn't have no money, I didn't have no money. You know, she didn't have any credit, I didn't have any credit. But when it came down to it, I stayed to my guns and she stayed to her guns. So nowadays, it's scary to get into a relationship, and you got to understand too is you know, most of the people these days are single. You know, depending on your age, if you 30 or over, it's hard. Because when you go into the clubs now, excuse me, when you go to the clubs or churches and stuff like that, once again, I go back to the dress code. You're going to the clubs now. You go into a club right now, the average woman in the club has on a bodysuit that looks like she's just coming from the gym.
So true. Oh my God.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
I go in the club now, I look at these women now, and they look like they just left the gym. And I'm like, what? These are gym clothes. You go in the grocery store, gym clothes. You know, it's just women are trying so hard to get a man's attention. Men now, they're getting women attention or designer clothes, which has always been that way with men. You know, we're in design, our cars. So it's not more now, it's conversation. You know, it takes a lot to get into a relationship. And once you start that relationship, it don't stop. It don't stop. It does not stop impressing. It does not stop listening. It does not stop fighting. All that comes, the ups, the downs, the good and the bad. But nowadays, when I see young love, I recognize it. I see young men that's taking care of their family, going out with a woman. I recognize it. Stay strong. Anything and everything you do it with your best friend. My wife's my best friend. And whether we married or not, she's my best friend. I married my best friend. When you marry your best friend, you can't go wrong.
But see, like you said, y'all been married for 27 years, so y'all started a long time ago.
Yeah, that's just marriage.
Yeah, marriage. But I'm saying it's not together. When people are dating and everybody has their expectations and requirements. It's video right there that I put up. It just happened to pop up as soon as Anna said that. And you see this woman getting out of this car and she's carrying this guy all the way up these stairs to put him in a wheelchair because he can't walk. Okay. Right. Now I got to remember my first official car, Expedition. Yeah. Love my Expedition to death because me and Chris had to build it into the car I wanted. It didn't come with the stereo I wanted. I put the stereo I wanted in it. And I think that's a value to relationships when you realize like you may want a specific thing, but if everybody wants that same thing, that thing is hard to get because that thing that everybody wants knows that everybody wants it. And so like Chris said, it's in a candy store. You can do whatever you want to, but when you have the requirements that you just necessarily, I need this. I needed a car that was what, Chris? Big enough to fit my kids.
Yes.
And I got the things that I needed, and then I gave it everything else that I wanted.
Exactly.
I got what I needed. I put the stereo. Me and you put the stereo in it.
Yep.
We put the bass in it. We did the seats and all the rest of the stuff that I wanted. If people realize in relationships, what's my base? It'd be good if I had all of that, but like I said, you got to be able to go to Bentley, pay for Bentley, put the gas in the Bentley, and all the rest of that.
Right.
And that Bentley only wants to be driven by certain people.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But if you go get, I need the base. My base is this. And if I find the right base, I can add to it. He may not have the best credit. He may have 500 credit, but I have this credit, but he loves me. So because he loves me, we can work this out and I can add to it. I pop him on a couple of my trade lines. Next thing you know, he got a 700. But I can add to him because he loves me.
Exactly.
He may not have that other stuff, but he loves me, so I can build him into. We built the expedition into what it was, but it was a base expedition when I got it.
Right.
And it's my favorite car. I've had better cars.
Right.
That expedition is my favorite car, my kids' favorite cars.
It's the work you put in.
Car for me because we built it into what we needed.
Yes. And so hold on. And I'm so glad that you said that because Anna's on the phone. She can hear us. She spoke of her requirements, correct?
Yes.
She never said one of the requirements was he had to love me.
Mm.
See, Anna, your requirements. No. You wailing now because I done brought it to your attention.
You said
See, now you want to wail.
You said get to know me.
I told you, and everybody in this platform got quiet and they let you speak. You listed your requirements. Baby, you listed your requirements. Remember how you threw in love with me and I told you I never said that? Yeah. There you go. But here, this is what I'm telling you. At the end of the day,
I gotta love you when I don't like you, right?
No. See, here's the deal.
It's not enough sometimes.
I don't like my baby mama. I done told her, and I used that term. I told her, I said, you know what? Devon, I don't like you. I love you. I love you because you're the mother of my child. I produce life with you, and I cannot ever not love you because I allowed my heart to do that. But I don't like you as a person.
Okay.
Okay.
I get it.
So what I'm telling you is I gave you a platform. You spoke on it, and we listed, and you listed what your requirements was. And even one of us said, no, that's wrong. And I said, no. That's Anna's requirements.
Yes.
And so whenever love is not one of the topic of your requirements, then you really never going to receive that.
No, I beg to differ. Let me tell you why.
I understand you do.
You said get to know me. You said a man has to get to know me.
Get to know her. Yeah, but she never said love her.
The courting process.
Okay.
When you're courting someone, you don't instantly start loving them. You may love their eyes. Oh my gosh, she dressed so nice. Or he's so every time he come around, girl, he smells so good. Girl, look at them legs. Man, when
she talking about me.
But during the initial process. Of course. In order for you to marry that, now you have people out here that they'll marry for money. They will marry for status.
Sure.
I was about to marry a Nigerian. It was about status. Let me just put it like that. But I had to shake myself and be like, you know what, girl, you don't love this man. You are not happy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, of course, you would think that people would love you when you walk down the aisle, right, with them. But I heard Dr. Miles Monroe say this very thing. Love is not always enough because there are going to be moments where, the man or a woman may lose their job. Sickness may come into play. If you heard me say earlier, if he gets sick and we're already married, yes, I got him. I'm going to push that wheelchair. I'm going to wash his butt and all of that. However, I'm not going into nothing doing that. I'm not going into meeting someone that is sick and I have to be their caregiver. And I'm like, well, damn, I didn't sign up for this. We're supposed to be, getting to know one another or enjoying after we've got over that initial hump. We're supposed to be enjoying life and building and, establishing some memories. I'm not about to sign up for, I don't get dressed and be like, girl, I'm about to go out and meet me a broke man today. I don't know nobody that's doing it. I don't know nobody that's doing that. Or even for men.
They got women that do.
With this chick and
they
I'm
got
put
women
on my
that
credit
do.
card.
Let me tell you something, Anna. You may not know women that do, but I know personally women that want a man that do not have it because they have it and they're controlling women and they know that what they have can control, they think can control the actions of that man. So yes,
See,
you
I
may
don't
not
have that type of time or energy.
exactly,
I'm
but
not
you
doing
may not be that type of person that to do anything like that. But I mean, and I understand you. Like you said, is your requirement, sweetheart. So there is no opinion on what you require. But
Yeah, I mean, I want love, of course, but I also have enough. See, some people are realists and some people are idealists. I have enough sense to know. It's kind of like actualize and propose. It's kind of like, oh, well, I'm going to marry him because he has potential. No, I want to see that potential play out. I want to see it come to flourishment. I'm not about to sign up for, I'm 47. I will be 48 in March. Honey, my best days are ahead of me.
Yes.
I don't have time. I don't have the time to play games and to waste. If I see that the conversation and energy is off, I'm cutting it off at the root. I don't have time. That's just, I mean, I could be wrong, but
No, you're
that's
right.
just me.
No, you're right.
No,
I don't have time.
everybody's right for them. We're gonna have to cut it off because Aaron has to go and he closes us out. I'm gonna sneak my little part in before he does. I do agree with Chris though, because I believe words are powerful. So I see where Anna's coming from, but I fully understand where Chris is coming from. Because he did it on purpose. I know him. What is your requirement?
He did that.
you know I did it on purpose. That's why I just said
Because when love wasn't in it, me and him believe the same way. You can't get it if you don't ask for it.
There you go.
And if love may not be the only thing, but it's got to be one of the things.
It's got to be
and
in
you
it.
can't say, well, of course I expect for him to love me. No, you got to demand that first. If you're going to be him, you got to love me first.
You got to love me first because everything else will follow behind that.
Don't, though.
Okay,
to me, what's understood
Aaron,
don't have to be explained. I'm not about to be explaining that you got to love me. You got to come with that already in your heart. You think I'm going to be hanging around somebody and I don't feel the love? I don't see the love? That's a given. So that's why I didn't feel like I needed to say it.
That's
because,
right.
You know,
You're right.
like,
We hear
you. Know
you.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't hanging around for nothing less.
Ain't nothing better than a woman with good credit and some good standards than a woman with a long broom. So this is what I'll say right here. I appreciate you cleaning that up. This is what we can
There you go.
right
Thank you, Aaron.
So I was taught by one of the people who I love and respect to always walk off the stage when the applause is the highest. So today, we had an opportunity to come in here and talk about the value that we find in a room and how you should represent yourself when you find yourself invited to one, or maybe just by happenstance and the pathway of your life, you are in a room that God designed for you to be in. Whatever your pathway is, it really doesn't matter, because if you truly believe that your pathway was destined before the laying of the foundation of the earth, any room you step in, you should always operate and act as a change agent and leave that room disrupted. You should never walk into a room and allow it to stay the same way it was before you went there, because your life has power and your life has purpose. So as you walk your pathway, we just like to thank you for finding yourself here, listening to us this day as we share our views with you. We'd like to thank you, Ms. Anna, for coming on and sharing your views as well. We really appreciate your perspective, and we thank you for all of what you've given to us. We don't want you to change a thing, and just keep reaching for that broom, baby. We love you.
We love you, Anna. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. And we can be reached at www.rebuildingfuturespodcast.com, everywhere you listen to your favorite podcast, and on all of your favorite social media outlets. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you,
Bye.
Anna.
Have a good day.